Time for the BA Breakdown here on the KRMG Evening News, where we talk live with Broken Arrow City Manager Michael Spurgeon. He is with us live on the line. Hey, Michael, how are you?
Skyler, how are you doing, my friend? Hope your week has started off well.
Yeah, so far so good. I know we wanted to talk about something, kind of revisit a conversation from last week, so let's do that for just a second. We got an open mic from a listener, and at the time you weren't so sure of the answer here, but I understand we have an answer. Let me first play the open mic again.
I noticed in downtown Broken Arrow at the Military History Museum, there are flagpoles for each branch of the military except the U.S. Coast Guard, and I was curious as to why that is.
Yeah, good question. What'd you find out?
You know, what was really cool was that resident that did the open mic, Skyler, actually sent me an email later in the evening asking me the same question and let me know who that was, which I really appreciated. It did stump me. It's a city-owned building, but we have a user group that is the Military History Center. So we reached out to those folks, and we found out that several years ago, there was a request for public donations to erect the pole for each branch of the U.S. military. And unfortunately, there weren't any donations or funding was identified specifically for the Coast Guard. The poles cost about $5,000, and I know that the Military History Center has struggled in the past to find donations of Coast Guard artifacts such as uniforms, flags, patches, and so forth. And that's a volunteer organization, so obviously, you know, money is very hard to come by sometimes. And so, I would just encourage, if there's anybody out there that was in the Coast Guard or is retired from the Coast Guard, is to reach out to the city or to the Military History Center. And if you've got something you'd like to donate, because that is a branch of government that we would like to expand upon. We just haven't had a lot of success to date. So I'm glad I didn't know the answer to the question, because it gave me an opportunity to do some research, and hopefully we'll be able to rectify this situation in 2023.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I hope we can help facilitate that kind of thing, making positive changes there in BA. Speaking of positive changes, not far from where I live, I go through here all the time, the construction zone at New Orleans and Elm, and we do periodic updates on it. So a good time to do that, because here in a couple of days, I understand there's some changes coming to that construction zone.
Well, the most exciting thing, Skyler, is the fact that we are, you can see the light at the end of the tunnel with regard to this project, and that light is not a train. Okay. It's actually, we're getting towards the end of it. And probably one of the most exciting parts of this project is the construction of the Medallion. And that Medallion is going to be in the center of the intersection. And we're going to have to make some modifications in the way people travel through the intersection for about a week, because all four sections of the Medallion have to be done at the same time to be consistent with the color and the design. And so from March 10th to March 17th, and we're going to be doing a lot of communication about this, there's going to be right turns only at the intersection. No left turns or straight through traffic will be permitted, because we have to put that Medallion together all at the same time. Now, fortunately, this is probably the final big piece that we have to complete, and this timing of this closure, or modification, I should say, is going to be over spring break, and we've done this intentionally to take advantage of the time when there's less traffic there. So we're excited about all the work that's still going outside of the roadway, but we've got to step back in and complete this Medallion. So we'll be putting out a lot of communications, Aaron McCulloch's team, to make sure that folks know about it. And we just ask everyone to be patient for a little while longer, and then we'll be completely done with the project.
I know I've asked you this before, but now that we've been a few more weeks and months into that project, what are you hearing from area businesses? There's a couple of restaurants around there that I like to go to. Sometimes I go to that Come and Go, and it's been challenging to get in and out of some of those places. So have the businesses reported any good or bad news in all this?
I think it's mixed. We hear from some folks that are doing fine, and we hear to some folks that have struggled because obviously when there's traffic and there is a project like this, some folks unfortunately make a decision, hopefully it's just temporary, to actually go somewhere else. And that's why we've had our folks down talking to businesses as often as possible about how they're doing and giving them updates on where we are with the construction. And so we'll be glad when the project's finished, because it is an inconvenience for everyone. And it's not our intent to harm any business. But we do believe that this is going to be a major investment and a great improvement to the area. So if we can get done in the next 30 to 45 days and get back to this intersection completely open, I think that it's going to be it's going to draw people down there. And we've got more things that we're going to be talking about in the future that I think are going to bring even more folks to the area. So we just ask folks to continue to be patient for just another couple of months.
While we're talking about roads, I want to let people know about a temporary closure coming to a street for some work that just can't be done with cars going over it. That is 37th Street between Kenosha and Houston. Now, I kind of pride myself on knowing all of the BA street numbers. I'm not super familiar with 37th Street, so can you help me out?
Oh, absolutely. Some folks that live in the east part of the community may know it as 209th. If you go out east on Kenosha, right before you get to where you can turn into the Walmart Supercenter out there off Kenosha, you go south. That is the south mile we're actually going to be doing the construction. That's a major connection from that road to certain parts of the city. And there are a lot of citizens that travel down Houston to the west. And we're very excited. This was a bond project from several years ago. It's taken quite a while to get the gas line moved as well as acquire the right of way. And so we're actually going to have to close that road to local traffic only between March 20th and April 7th because there are two major sewer lines that we're going to have to relocate that are underneath the road. So there just really isn't any way that we can do this. And if you know that road very well, there's a large hill that actually creates a tremendous blind spot. And we're going to be cutting that hill down as a part of this 3-lane, going from 2 lanes to 3 lanes. And so we're very excited about it. But once again, it's progress, requires some inconvenience. Fortunately, the folks that travel there locally will be able to get in, get out. But we just ask folks for a couple of weeks to be patient, and then we'll get the road back open the way you normally do during construction.
Yeah, now that you describe it like that, I know right where it is. I almost hit a turtle there once, so watch for the wildlife while they're working on it, okay?
Well, there's lots of it out there.
Okay, Michael, we'll talk to you next week on the BA Breakdown.
Take care, my friend. Have a great week.